I'm Ryan Milton from Team Flex. Today, we're going to be looking at NPC Universe Bikini. We're going to look at all of the class winners who also won their pro card. So for those of you out here that are getting started in Bikini, maybe you've already been going a while, maybe you're trying to get a pro card, maybe you're already a pro, we're going to go over what's winning right now on Bikini stages, what is actually winning pro cards, moving into the pro league, and how that is relevant to you, the criteria, and everything you want to know to be doing your best on stage. And if you're new here, make sure you subscribe, hang out. I do this all the time. A lot of great info for you. It will make you a better competitor. And if you're one of my repeat viewers, I love you. I appreciate you. Give me that thumbs up. Give me a comment. I'll check it out soon. All right, let's get down to it. So we have three class winners here and pro card winners right on the screen here. We have Katrina. She is the Class C winner, pro card winner, and the overall winner. So out of all the other pros that have been created at this event, all the other class winners, in other words, she is the overall winner. Class A has Marissa over here, and Class B has Jacqueline, okay? And we're going to take a look at all of these athletes kind of individually, talk about the criteria, what's actually winning, what's actually going on. So Katrina here, okay? As we know, Bikini is all about the hourglass shape. You know, that symmetry, that proportion, that up, down, left, and right is all created by muscle development. This is what's lost a lot in Bikini. And, you know, with Fit Model coming to play now, it's been an interesting dynamic to see where Bikini's actually ultimately going, but it has for sure not gone away from the hourglass shape, okay? So what she's got going here is, very good deltoid shape for this division. It's not overdone. It's not too big. If you get your delts too big, it starts to look more figure-esque. You don't want that. You want that fullness, that roundness, and that shape from that front delt, lateral delt, and then rear delt we'll see in the back. That's really key. She has that to a good degree. Now, Bikini, I do like to address bicep, tricep here just a bit. And for her, not an issue, right? You want your bicep and your tricep. Most Bikini competitors are going to train these. Obviously, it depends what, kind of base you already have there. But you don't want to overdo it. You want to let the shoulders really take the show and just have bicep, triceps that complement that. So she really does nail that. You know, you see the shoulder width here being created by the shoulders, but nothing too distracting coming from the arms or anything else. Next biggest thing, and I keep saying this for all women's divisions right now, it is in. It's the narrow waist effect. So the more narrow that you can get your waist, the tinier you can get the waist, the better you're going to place in Bikini. And we'll see that as we go through these call-outs, or not call-outs, as we go through these competitors. I'm sure we are going to see more and more of those narrow waists, because really that's what creates that most dramatic V-taper. And that ultimately is, again, what judges are looking for 24/7. So make sure you got that dialed. Make sure you got that dialed in, okay? Looking lower body-wise now, what we see is good overall glute shape here. She definitely has some good size there. Upper glute, very pronounced, full. It's not, depleted. It's not flat. Really key in this division. Looking lower body into the hamstrings and the quads. Basically, what you want to see here is the hamstrings and the quads, there's muscle, there's shape. It complements the glutes, complements what's going on up top. It does not distract, does not detract, and is not overdone. She really has a super good balance lower body-wise. Conditioning now. So I highly doubt she'll be the leanest athlete we see. We'll see as we go, but she's definitely at exactly where Bikini conditioning should be. So some soft lines in the obliques, soft lines in the glutes, some here in the quad and the hamstring separation, just a little bit going on here in the standing leg. A lot of times that leg, if you start to see feathering and stuff splitting up, that'll be an indicator she's too lean. Not seeing that here. She is close, but, we're not seeing that. So, again, pro-level event, NPC Universe, these types of things where you're going to get a pro qualifier going on, you're going to go into the pro leagues. They do go bigger. They do go leaner, and NPC Universe is one of those ones that tends to, go a little bit bigger and leaner. But, again, not overdone in the conditioning, really spot on, totally complete look. No question why she's winning the overall here. Let's look at Class A Marissa now, and we'll just kind of put them both there. But what we can see here, good overall shoulder shape. Again, tapers into, guess what? Very narrow waist, everybody. Glutes, pretty pronounced, full. Upper glute is full. Nothing's missing there. Lower body-wise, hamstrings and quads. looking pretty good. What I think stands out instantly to me is a little bit bigger in the shoulders, right? So maybe a tad bit more in the shoulders. Again, keep in mind, she wins a pro card, so still very on par. But let's highlight what's getting to the overall versus the, a class win. So I think a little bit more, that shoulder. She does have just a tad bit more bicep and tricep to start to see that, pick that up. So she's got a little bit more upper body muscle, I would say. And looking at the legs, lower body wise, quads and hamstrings do not necessarily, to me, in this angle at least, look as balanced with the glute. The glute kind of stands out on its own here. And that's going to be one of those things where, again, maybe, bringing up the quads a bit, bringing up the hamstrings just a bit would have made a difference. Conditioning wise, very spot on. It's basically identical condition, which again, at these top level events like this, that's what we're going to see. We're going to see, that conditioning being very relatively close. So for that, a little bit more muscle maybe, but again, wins that pro card. Might need a little bit more lower body balance. That's great physique overall, though. Great representation of criteria. Okay, so Jacqueline here. What we are looking at, Jacqueline. I'm sorry if I'm butchering your name here. I'm not trying to do that. But let's take a look here. Class B winner, pro card winner. Right away, a lot of standout things you'll notice. Let's just go here first. Oh, guess what? Another bikini compare winning a pro card with a very narrow waist. Bikini compares, be getting your waist right. It's not just from waist training and all this stuff too either. Don't go buy the sweatbands on Amazon and think you're getting here. This is not either from doing, direct ab work, stuff like that, crunches. It's a lot of probably, TVA work, transverse abdominis, intra-abdominal exercise, as well as conditioning, right? That's going to create that flat stomach. So make sure you have that stuff. With my bikini compares, we're doing that stuff 24/7, trying to get them, into that exact spot for that narrow waist effect. Looking up top, good overall shoulder development, a little bit more fullness and roundness here again. Glute shape is pretty good. Upper glute is not as pronounced on her. However, it's still showing size pretty well. And then quads and hamstrings definitely show some good development there. Conditioning just edging a tad bit softer than the other two in there, right? A little bit less of the lines, but still not bad. It's right there. She's got a very complete, good structure here. What I would say is, from this angle, at least, the quads and the hamstrings do almost start to overpower the glutes just a bit. Maybe needs a little bit more of that upper glute fullness. But again, wins that pro card. Freaking killer looks for all three of these ladies right here. That's some new IFBB pros on the screen. So very excited. Keep in mind, everyone we look at today is going to be a new IFBB pro. Okay, so let's take a look from the back now. What we can see is overall, some really similar things and some big differences, okay? So Katrina, our class winner, Class C winner, pro card winner, overall winner, good shape coming from the shoulders from the back. We can see a little bit more of that rear delt there. Bicep, tricep, not distracting, not detracting. It's what we want. Good taper in here. Lower body wise now. Okay, so what we're looking at is a good overall upper glute base. Little bit of that glute, overall development coming through, tie-in showing through a bit, and then some good quad and hamstring density. She's definitely got some, heavier muscle in the quads here, and the hamstrings you can see compared to the glutes. So longevity-wise, going to the pro leagues, I would say she's got to kind of probably bring up the glutes some more, add some more mass to that upper glute and everything, but in this lineup, very symmetrical. I mean, it's a total X-frame shape type of, hourglass going on here that she really does have locked down, and that's going to win in bikini every single time, okay? So, very complete look for her, overall win for her. Great job. All right, so Marissa here, Class A winner, pro card winner. What we can see, good overall taper in. She does have a lot of the same markers. Her shoulders are not as pronounced from the back as they were from the front, which is interesting, right? But we still do see, overall good hamstrings, quads, glute shape, everything's there. Honestly, I think where it's coming down to, though, again, you could go kind of any which way with this post, to be honest. It's very, very close. It's very, much so tight. It's always going to be tight in these events where the other pro card winners are competing against, each other for that overall. So for her, from the back, it honestly could be a little bit more balance needed in fullness in the shoulders. It's just kind of given that look compared over here. Her glutes do appear a bit fuller, though. It's kind of interesting, right? Because could go any which way. However, it appears the judges just really went for a little bit more of that muscle in that group here today for that overall win there. Now, looking over here, what we can see, she's obviously not in her full pose. This is the best picture we could get right here. But overall, we can see good quad density, hamstring density, glute shape overall. And these are very tight, placings on these competitors, I'm sure. We're talking about separations of points. These are all very complete looks, but great physique overall here. Let's keep moving down the line. We got a lot of new pros to talk about. By the way, if you're enjoying this, subscribe. We're also doing a giveaway. I'm going to talk about it right now real quick. I don't have, the exact details on it on the screen, so we're just going to cross this out. You can do this if you want. If you want to do my free trial, definitely go check that out. 7-day free trial. You can train with me free for 7 days. I'll teach you how to train exactly like a bikini competitor, give you feedback, help you with whatever you need. I have people in peak week jumping on this thing. Crazy enough. They're like, hey, can you help me peak? I'm like, all right, let's freaking go. Let me help you, right? So that's one thing you can do. But what we are doing this week that's a little bit different is a posing critique giveaway. Okay. So if you want to get, your routine analyzed by me, have me give you some feedback, give you some tweaks, give you things to improve, your posing going to show, just even gaining confirmation for any division, I'm happy to do it. We're going to give away 10 of these. Okay. So just hit the description. There's a link, put your email in on there. We're going to pick at the end of the week 10 of you to win that, where you'll basically send me a posing video. I'll give you a video analysis back and give you tweaks, adjustments, everything you need to know that's going to help you do better on stage. It'll be freaking awesome. You'll love it. I know you will. So don't miss out on that. Definitely check that out. Okay, let's get here now. Class D, pro card winner Emily, and then Class E, Allie. Let's take a look. All right, so let's just start with Allie, actually, because she is a bit leaner, and I did say I didn't think, we would see Katrina be the leanest. So she's a little bit leaner. Very good shape overall. Good, shoulder development here, fullness. She has a little bit more of that wide lat effect, which is really good. And guess what, ladies and gents? Another super narrow waist. Bikini compares, I'm telling you. All right, if anything, if you're going to skip any day in the gym, definitely don't skip waist day. All right, let's just say that, because it is the look in bikini. It ain't going away. Lower body wise, really good glute balance overall and shape with her quads and her hamstrings. Again, this is a super freaking tight lineup. Like, honestly, when I review these competitions, most of the time, there's blatant differences. We're not seeing that much at Universe. Universe Bikini was off the charts. I'm just telling you. Like, very competitive, very dialed in competitors here. Congratulations to all of you. It's very hard to be as dialed as everyone is here, coming down to just these points separating things. For her physique, she's a little bit leaner. I honestly don't think it hurts her. I think it looks good. Let's see what the back looks like when we get there, though. All right, and Emily, Class D winner, IFBB Pro card winner, good overall shoulder shape here, tapers in, a little bit of a different posing choice, nothing wrong with that, but maybe could open this up a little bit more to get a little bit more of that shape going. Good overall glute structure for sure. Quads and hamstrings seem pretty symmetrical, maybe a little under on the hams, hard to see from here. Overall, again, it's just very, very tight in these placings, very, very close overall. She does appear maybe to have a little bit of a softer condition. I can't tell if it's just this pose, though. So let's pop into the back and take a look, because that's what always tells the full story. All right, so we'll start with Allie here. Let's just put these two side by side. Again, judges definitely went with a tad bit of a more muscle-dominant look in bikini right now. And This has been a crazy year for criteria because of Fit Model. Fit Model came in. Everybody's like, what the heck is Fit Model? Does it look like this? Does it look like that? Judges were like, it looks like this. And they're like, nah, it looks like that. Now it looks like, it's kind of been just all over the place. It's been changing. And it has affected the other divisions like bikini, because obviously judges want to keep a clear delineation. It appears at this point, granted, NPC Universe is I've said this before, it's a leaner show. That's what happens. It appears right now, though, at least based on this competition, bikini's really emphasizing the muscle right now to bring that full shape, because we're seeing that with all these athletes that not only won their pro card, they have a lot of muscle and shape. We're also seeing it definitely in the overall, battle there between those classes. So for Allie, again, good shoulder shape from the back. That's a lot of good delt density. Tapers in really well. Lower body wise, the glutes totally complete. Upper glutes there overall, showing that slight separation, the tie-in, and a great balance between her quads and her hamstrings. So, again, it's hard for me to come up with like, oh yeah, there's a blatant obvious reason she's not the overall, because everybody's really close. The biggest thing that's standing out is the other classes so far, everybody's had a little bit less muscle than Katrina. Okay, so that's the interesting thing, just a little bit. All right, Emily here. So Emily's got overall good shoulder shape. We can see that tapers in well. Lower body wise, this is a little bit different, right? So probably needs a little bit more upper glute fullness, overall glute fullness here. This is kind of interesting because it did look like, you know, maybe it's just that pose, but it looked like her glutes were pretty pronounced in that front pose. Lower body wise, you know, maybe a tad tighter on condition. Sometimes you run into that where it's a little bit tighter up top than lower, and that's pretty common. And again, keep in mind, I'm not talking bad on anybody in any of these videos. These are all IFBB Pro winners. Fantastic job to every single one of them. Just trying to highlight further for everybody watching the difference overall to not the overall winners, but still pros. What are we looking at? What's the difference? What's happening, right? This appears to be what's playing out. Let's keep moving down the line. We got some more coming in. If you're staying with me, I really do freaking appreciate it. By the way, do the trial. Train with me free for 7 days. It's awesome. Grab your phone, pick it up. Do it. I don't want to say it twice, but I have to say it twice because it changes people's lives. I'm telling you, changes the game. All right. Class F, Alexandria here, and then Class G, Marissa. All right. Some more athletes coming into the group. Now, interesting dynamics we're going to see right away. So let's take a look at Marissa. Marissa's definitely coming in a bit more muscular and, you know, in general, having a little bit more of that muscle. Now, this does happen as you start to move down into those taller height classes where athletes just tend to be a little bit more muscle dominant. Bigger physiques can have bigger muscles. Go figure, right? So she's got great overall shoulder shape. It is, like I said, a little bit on the bigger side there. She does have more bicep and tricep. That's pretty pronounced. Lower body wise, I would say she has more glutes, more quads, more hamstrings overall. And she's definitely coming in pretty freaking diced lean. Let's zoom in a bit. She's definitely lean, right? Like a lot of veins in the arms and, you know, veins over here and very narrow, start to see almost feathering in the oblique and stuff. So she's definitely lean, definitely big, not a bad thing. Wins that pro card, but maybe too big, too lean, you know, for where judges want to take the overall at this lineup. Alexandria here, okay? Good overall shoulder shape, super narrow waist, tapers in really well. Very complete look, honestly. Super balanced between the quads, the glutes, and the hamstrings. Not missing really anything. Maybe a little bit more muscle in the lower body. We're going to have to see. I think that's probably what we're looking at here. Just a tad bit more muscle, though. Let's see. All right. Yeah, so let's just stay on Alexandria since we're already there. Definitely a little bit more muscle in the lower body, right? When you get to the back, you can really see a little bit more upper glute, overall glute structure, pull that tie in through a little more, and more quads and hamstrings, honestly. So she's got the great shape. Everything's there. Wins that pro card. Freaking awesome. You know, it's going to be going to the pro league, which it is for most new pros, by the way, building muscle. That's what you got to do, right, as you continue to go. Katrina's got to do that even, too. She wins that overall, right? She's got to bounce out the glutes a little bit there. All right, Class G, Marissa. So again, not in the full pose, but this is what we got. You can definitely see she got some shoulder density, tapers in, lower body wise. Not getting as much pop from this tie-in, so you know that's one of those areas. But again, maybe if she was fully locked in her pose, it would have popped through a bit more. Just a lot of good, you know, balance and structure and muscle here, but probably again, you know, like we saw in the front, a little bit big, a little bit lean. Still wins that pro card. Great physique, great representations of these criteria. By the way, these are not all of the IFBB Pro winners at this event's top 2 in those classes that win. So if you do want me to roll back through here and do another video on those, comment that. Because I'm happy to do it. I don't want to make videos that are 48 minutes. I mean, this is, I don't even know where we're at. We're going a while. If you're still here, thumbs up me. I love you. Appreciate you. But, you know, there are other pros. If you want to look at it, I can do that. I can do it. All right, let's go. So now we're going to look at Class H, Elizabeth. Okay, so Elizabeth, a great overall shoulder shape here. Tapers into a super narrow waist. I could almost stop saying that at this point because every competitor has it. Glutes definitely full. Quads and hamstrings all match very well. Upper glute looks just a little bit under right here in this shot. Not too bad, but just a little, you know, looking over here compared, just a little. That is noted from judges. We'll see it in the back more maybe, but overall, very complete. Very, again, super competitive, close, tight looks at this event. It's crazy. All right, from the back, I mean, That's you know, very, very close yet again. You could go any which way with a lot of this, but it does appear judges definitely went with a little bit more muscle frame overall. She has a little bit more narrow of a look with the shoulders, and kind of based on her posing choice, it looks a little bit more narrow, but her lower body's very complete here. Again, you know, that upper glute maybe just a tad, but overall glute density there, tie-ins pulling through, and great balance between the quads and the hamstrings. So super freaking outstanding job to all these ladies in these lineups. This is like very crazy. It's one of the most it is the most competitive nationals we've looked at this year for sure. And I have done now wellness, fit model, figure, now bikini. I mean, we are looking at ultra competitive universe. So if you didn't watch those other videos yet, go check that out. And I got a lot more coming. Let me know comps you want me to do. I'm doing tons of other NPC amateurs and pro shows too. Just really trying to hammer out the universe stuff because it is very relevant for all of you out there trying to get your pro card right now. All right. Thank you for watching. Coach Ryan is out.